Veterans, are you thinking about electing to do a HLR review informal conference? In today's video, I'm going to give you some things you need to consider before scheduling that HLR review informal conference. Make sure you stick around. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dwayne. I got a video for that Kimball, United States Army veteran, retired VA rating specialist, and your VA claim nugget man. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. So you receive that rating decision in the mail and you disagree with it. One of the options you have that they identify in the notification letter is a HLR review, and you can elect for an informal conference. So I'm going to be covering some things that I feel you should consider before electing for a HLR review informal conference. So, number one, review the rating decision thoroughly. Keep in mind, when you receive that packet in the mail, it comes with two documents. One is the notification letter, and the second document is the rating decision. Okay. So what you want to do is read that rating decision thoroughly. Okay. If you have multiple conditions, there will be multiple narratives. The VSR completes the notification letter. The RVSR completes the rating decision. And guess what? Here's a nugget. You have 365 days from the date of the notification letter, not the date of the rating decision, to submit for that HLR review. Also, you can elect for an informal conference. Number two, confirm what you are disagreeing with and build a game plan. A lot of veterans, they'll jump on YouTube and they say, oh, well, all you got to do, HLR review, HLR review, HLR review. That's an option. But you have to build a game plan, okay? Be clear on what you're disagreeing with, all right? Are you disagreeing with the denial for service connection, the percentage assigned, or the effective date? Sometimes this can be based on the evidence you, the veteran, submitted, okay? So going back to number one, reading that rating decision thoroughly. Two, building that game plan. This is something that I did back when it was called appeals. I just didn't say, oh, I'm going to do an appeal and I'm going to jump in there and say, let me just tell you my story. No, people, you have to understand exactly what you're disagreeing with. Look at all the evidence and figure out where that rater went wrong, okay? Number three, complete the VA form 20-0996. Like any VA prescribed claim form, it has instructions, okay? You need to read those instruction sections on these prescribed claim forms, especially the 0996, because guess what, people? Years ago, yes, you could submit new evidence with your appeal. Now you can't. And they talk about this in the instruction sections of the 0996. It's easy to complete, but where a lot of veterans go wrong, they do not read these documents before they submit them to the VA. Veterans, are you tired of being frustrated and ready to be educated on the VA claims process? No worries. VA Claim Nugget Man got you covered. Pick up my new book, The VA Compensation Blueprint. It's time to win. The link to pick up your copy is in the description section below. Now back to the video. Let's keep going. Number four, submit the VA form 20-0996 to VBA, not VHA. All right. So what's the difference? Veterans Benefit Administration, okay, they're over here. And then you have VHA, Veterans Healthcare Administration. Veterans Healthcare Administration, they cover all of the VA medical centers, outpatient clinics. And then under VBA, you have home loan guarantee, you have voc rehab, you have insurance, education, and then the compensation piece. So a lot of veterans will say, oh, just go to your VA medical center and turn in your documents. Guess what? There, in most cases, I haven't, well, in many cases, I haven't seen where there's a compensation department in a VA medical center. Now, I did a previous video where I talked about when I rated, I was part of a FDC pilot program, fully developed claim program, where veterans could come right to an office, and we were in a VA medical center building, and they could submit their claim. All right. I haven't seen this in any other locations, and the one that I worked at, management shut it down. Okay. So when you go to the VHA, more than likely you are giving it to a VSO, Veterans Service Officer or organization, and then you are relying on them to submit it to VBA. Okay, so understand the difference between the two. If you go into a VHA, VA medical center or outpatient clinic, ask them, hey, wait a minute, are you a VSO organization or you work directly with VBA, the compensation piece? All right, number 5. Call 800-827-1000. That is the VA's national call center, and confirm the following before scheduling your informal conference. You're going to ask them, hey, has the EP 030 been established? Guess what, people? Your Nugget Man got you covered. I have a video out there where I'm explaining EPs, okay? If not, do not schedule that informal conference. Wait a few days, maybe wait a couple of weeks, because if you do, they're going to say, hey, it's premature, and they could cancel it, okay? If their answer is yes, move to the next step. And what is the next step? Ask the rep, has an HLR been assigned to Seattle, Washington, D.C., or St. Petersburg, Florida regional office? Now, what I mean by HLR, has the EP 030 been assigned to one of those locations? Now, the rep may not give you this information, but you still want to ask. If the answer is yes, ask for the 3-digit station code for that office. I worked out of St. Petersburg. The code is 317, and I believe Seattle is 345. I'm not for sure, to hold me to it. I would have to go out to the M21-1 and confirm that, okay? And you want that for your records, okay? Now, if it hasn't been assigned to one of those locations, do not schedule an informal conference, okay? More than likely, again, the VA may cancel it because it's premature. It hasn't been assigned to a particular location. Now, let's say it has. Then go ahead and schedule the HLR informal conference. And I have a video on my YouTube channel explaining how to schedule it fast. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna give you my opinion, and this is just my opinion. You may ask another YouTuber that's in this niche, and their opinion may be different, but this is mine. If I'm going and scheduling a high-level review informal conference, I'm not going to schedule it on a Monday, nor am I going to schedule it on a Friday. Here's why. Monday, them Joes coming up off the weekend, okay? Probably be a little bit sluggish. They're going to have to go through and look at, okay, where did they left off? Where did they leave off Friday? And they're getting things together to start the week, okay? I would either do Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I'm going to schedule anywhere between 8 a.m. to 10 or 11 a.m. Why am I going to do that? I definitely want to get them bright-eyed, bushy tail. I don't want to get them after lunch. They ate lunch, ate a burger, ate some pizza, whatever, and now they got that itis. And a lot of you know what that itis means, okay? They're ready. They're thinking about clocking out. I'm getting in early enough. Let them get an hour or two, get going, get the day going, maybe give them time to do a cursory review if they decide to do that. And when they get to me at 9, 10, 11 o'clock, they're like, okay, I'm ready to go. That's just me. You may ask somebody else and they may come up with something different, okay? Now, don't be surprised if they try and cancel it and say it's premature, even after you asked all these questions. If so, many veterans have rescheduled it and it worked. So when you see that video that I did, if you watch it, how to schedule your informal conference fast, look inside the comments section. See what veterans have been saying. And it's a mixture, okay? I think it's about 50-50, all right? So the nugget, they are supposed to call you twice before making a decision. For example, when I'm talking about is you scheduled or requested an informal conference, but you elected not, I'm gonna say this again, not to go in and schedule it yourself. Okay. So per the M21-5, not the M21-1, the -5, they're supposed to call you at least twice to an attempt to schedule it. But guess what? What I've been hearing from a lot of veterans, okay, so I'm just taking their word at it, that, hey, they're driving down the road, they're in the mall, eating lunch with the family or whatever. They get a call from an unknown number saying, hey, I'm such and such from this particular regional office, and I'm here to conduct your high-level review. And you're thinking, wait a minute, I'm not even prepared. So that's something that I've been hearing from veterans. But if you elect, again, people, if you elect not to go in and schedule your high-level review and formal conference, they're supposed to call you twice. Now, if you elect to do it, you go in and you schedule it, and there's a time, a date and time. Make sure you do not have a pop-up blocker on your phone or anything like that, a scam pop-up blocker, because it could come from a number you don't recognize, an unknown number. I don't know how it's going to come up on your phone, but if you schedule it for a Wednesday at 10 a.m. and you get a call and it's an unknown number, and you schedule that informal conference for that particular day, you might want to pick up the phone. Okay. So again, people, these are some things that I think you should be doing before you schedule that informal conference. With that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, and as always, share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you. Don't be frustrated, get educated.